What up? What up, everyone? We are back. We got No BS Ted again on Tuesdays, 11:30. And here we are. We got Ted from from Ted Talks Ball. And we got me, Ryan, from No Border Sports. We've kind of been doing this a while. I know it doesn't show. At least on my end. Yeah, I want to let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat here real quick. We got Red Jet Shell in the house. What up, Red Jet? Seeing you on this morning on Terradome's podcast. Well, I didn't see you, but I seen you in the chat on Terradome Show. Make sure to go check him out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We got Jimmy in the house. What up, Jimmy? There you go. We got Eric Wallace in the house. What up, Eric?
And I'll say hi to Mr. David McNiner. What's up, David? Welcome.
So, we got some stuff blowing up.
Let give a little backstory. Ryan went to some extra effort this last week, and he set up this really lovely Canva doc so that we could go back and forth about subjects and put a check mark or a thumbs up if we like it or delete it if we didn't like it and all that stuff. And I'm totally untechnical, so he sent me a training video so I can learn how to actually use this thing. But in the meantime, all this news dropped today that has nothing to do with anything from 4, 5, 6 days ago that we
Nope, not at all.
We were planning on. But I'm sure, I'm not poo-pooing your idea, Ryan. It's a great idea, and I appreciate you putting it together. And I'm sure on other weeks it'll work out a lot better. But this week, all the news dropped today for whatever.
Today. There was a little bit of movement yesterday. Was it the offensive tackle supposedly we got, Chris Hubbard? Or was that today that we got him?
I think it was today.
That's right. I swear there was some movement yesterday.
It was the D-tackle, Shackle.
Yeah. Well, we signed him today, but I think he was in the rookie minicamp because he was originally from the Titans. And he got an ankle injury or something, and that kind of ruined him for the end of the rest of the season, or they didn't need him. So we gave him a tryout, and it's his second year in the league essentially. So he's a strong guy too. He put up over 30 reps on the bench, 225. So, and that was 2 years ago. So, wow, year and a half ago ish, whatever. So, yeah,
there's some reasons to be optimistic, and D-tackle is definitely a big need. We obviously waved goodbye to Mr. Spencer Wagee, one of Larry Kruger's favorites. But let's be honest, Larry just says he likes everybody. He's like, "Oh, see, I said I liked him," But I was wondering if Larry waved back when we waved.
I was thinking about something today. Larry's good for good insight on certain things, definitely. Don't get me wrong, but
he definitely used to be a scout.
He used to be a scout.
Yeah.
If they thought his talent was still all there and intact, I'm sure somebody would have a job for him. And I'm not trying to cut him down at all. I'm just saying,
shots fired.
Well, just take everything as it is. It's an opinion from somebody. He's a little more educated than he's more educated than the run of the mill. He's more educated than me. You know what I mean? He is. But when it comes down to it, it's not like I've heard other content creators complaining about the Pearsall pick and all this and that. And I was hearing today, some people had Renardo Green in the 4th round, and you got to understand they're not working with the same metrics that we are. They don't care about that. They've got a different set of rules. People are going to come off the board way too early all the frickin' time. It's just how it's going to be. If you want to be all up in arms and all upset, I heard today Ricky Pearsall. The reason why they didn't look at Ricky because they were down to get Ricky last year. They didn't do a 30 visit on him because it didn't matter. They were down. So they were like, hey, we could move down, but everybody's trying to move down. Everybody was trying to move down all that time after, the first 20 picks. Everybody's trying to move down. because there's no first round grades on anybody else. So they want somebody else to have to move up to take something that's worth, and they get extra picks out of it. So were we going to move down? Probably not. We probably didn't have a chance to. So what do? We make sure we got the one guy that we wanted. And I say we as in the front office, the management. Yeah. So I don't see why anybody's really upset unless this pick doesn't pan out. And if it doesn't, well, it's the same as every other pick essentially, because they're all crapshoots.
Yeah, no doubt. I was a little disheartened to hear that he had a bunch of drops in rookie minicamp when I'd been touting him as having the best hands of all our wide receivers based on college, which is not the same as playing against pro defensive backs. Also, the other thing to keep in mind was during rookie minicamp, it wasn't Brock Purdy throwing him the ball. It was Tanner Mordecai, and probably a lot of guys a lot worse than that throwing him the ball. So
also, you have to take into account that when people are learning something new, stuff that they're usually good at can drop. You know what I mean? Like the levels that they normally play at can drop because their processing power is being taken up by something else.
Yeah.
So like, that's why you can't really judge anybody while they're trying to learn stuff. Once you know they should know what's going on. Look at the defensive players. Everybody's talking great about the defensive players. Why? Because defense always does better than the offense when you're starting to learn something when you come out in the season, right? Defense is always fucking just picking on the offense, right? They're just hammering because defense is defense. You're just calling different plays. They know them. You're not like teaching anybody something really different about defense. There's the little nuances of the certain coverages, but when it comes down to it, they can call something, and most of these guys on the defense can figure out how to play it. And when it comes to offense, it's not that same curve. So who knows? Was that it? I don't know. But it's something to take in consideration instead of just grading these guys right now off of this stuff. I think there's definitely, you should make a note of it, but I don't think you should count it against his official record. You know what I mean? If you make multiple notes of it, then it should start counting against the record. But right now,
yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I just felt like I had a little egg on my face for saying he had the best hands of our receivers, not all the drops. But yeah, it doesn't mean that much. Nothing to worry about. We got some chat. We should call out Anshul's in the house.
Yeah. Well, let me start with Jesus.
Jesus
in the house. What up? Appreciate you, sir. I don't know why my voice is cracking.
Yeah, Jesus, the schedule does come out tomorrow, but there have been some leaks today. So the big one was Niners Jets, Monday Night Football, Week 1 at Levi's.
Yeah, media in the house. 49ers media. Make sure to go check him out. He's got a great channel over there. It says we signed the DT and OT, but we have to clear 2 roster spots. Yep. Did you say something like Wagey's already gone? So is that one of the spots already cleared?
Maybe. Yeah.
You haven't heard anything like that?
No, I mean, I heard that we waived him, so maybe that was it. But it sounds like Anshul's talking about since then. So,
what up, Damian Lee?
Damian Lee in the house. What's up, Damian?
Wait, is that the Borg?
Bebop
is that
Jones.
Picard is the Borg?
I can't
tell.
Oh yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? With like the eyepiece and the.
I was so mad. I was like, that was my dude, and the Borg's gonna get him.
Look,
I can't remember. I hated that.
I think that's what it was.
We got Bebop Jones in the house. What up, Bebop? Appreciate you stopping in, sir.
So yeah, I mean, we were kind of bearing the lead there for a minute, weren't we? About Bebop brought it up, and so did somebody else. That got the Jets opening night. Aaron Rodgers. Will we continue our ownage of Aaron Rodgers? I guess technically, we don't really own Aaron Rodgers in the regular season. The last 2 games I remember in the regular season, we lost Aaron Rodgers. In COVID year, when everybody was injured or out. And then that year with Jimmy G is week 3 of 2021 season. And I was like, no more Jimmy G after that. That was when I was through. with defending him. So I don't know. Man. We're 4-0 against him in the playoffs, but from what I can remember, 0-2 in the regular season against Aaron Rodgers. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think we're going to do all right. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. He's had a lot of time off. I don't think he's necessarily fallen off. I just think that he's going to be a little slow. I think Kyle figured out how to get everybody up and going. In the media can't see that. Media, do you think Hubbard is an offensive tackle in our system?
He can see that. That chat everyone can see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Anyway, it's out there. What was I saying?
I think Hubbard is a swing tackle to compete with Jalen Moore.
He doesn't seem like a regular.
He's not here to compete with McKivitz, and certainly not Trent Williams.
Definitely not. He looks more like a guard, but he could be a tackle, I guess.
Oh, good, more guards.
Yeah, just. But what was I saying? What was I on before that?
Good question.
Oh, the Jets. So we got Aaron Rodgers. He's been hurt for a minute. Now the rest of the team, they have been waiting to be winners for a while. And who knows? This might be a ball of issues for us if they come out to play and we're not ready for it. But like I was saying, it seemed like Kyle figured out how to come out strong last year. So we'll see if the Niners can do it, because I think we have a great chance of beating them week 1. If we can come out like we did last year.
Also, Kyle has really good ownage on all of his proteges.
Yeah.
He barely ever loses to people who came from his coaching tree.
But Saleh is defensive. It's not like it's an offensive thing. They use the same system. Don't get me wrong. They use the same system, but it's not like Saleh was getting his defensive philosophy from Kyle. He brought that from somewhere else.
Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, he brought that from somewhere else. So it's not like Kyle was showing him the way.
I don't think you shouted out Eric Wallace in the chat.
Didn't I? Maybe if I didn't, I am so sorry. What up, Eric Wallace?
Because there aren't very many cool Seahawk fans, and he's definitely one of them. So
Eric's a fan of football. Eric's a fan of good football.
Well, we know Joe Stevens, and then I work quite a bit with Candace Higgins. She's great.
Candace is awesome.
And, there's a few, maybe one or two others, but those are my big 3 for sure.
Now, this kind of made me wonder, what was Jerry all up about, thinking like he was going to sign his team up for week 1 against us. And he wanted it at Levi's. And I'm wondering if he thought that the 49ers players can't play in the heat. I'm wondering if he thought that it's the players that can't take the heat and don't understand that it's the
fans.
The fans that are getting baked to death out there. I think that's what it was, and I think he was trying to start off his season like, look, let's get over these guys. They've always had our number. We could kind of how to manufacture a win, kind of, I guess. I think he thought he could manufacture a win by calling the time and the date. You know what I mean? And the place. And I don't think that's the case. So I was wondering what that was about, because it seemed real particular, and he was not only saying it, but he wanted to make sure that the public knew that he was saying it, right? Because I don't think the NFL's like, oh, hey, Jerry's all up our ass about doing this. I don't think they're saying that. I think it's Jerry like, hey, I'm all up their ass saying this. You guys print that shit.
I think he and Goodell are pretty buddy-buddy.
Yeah, but look. So today, right? I'm like, hey, we need to turn on the air at work. And this one guy's like, oh, yeah, just walk that way, right? clearly shitty directions, right? After I've already said, hey, just show me where it is, right? Just show me where it is.
Right.
So he continues to not want to do that. So I go, okay, don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'll walk around until I find out. And then my supervisor's like, nope, you over there. Because I was walking
for a minute. See you guys around 2.
It's leverage. You get people to make a decision that you want by taking a certain action that you do. So this to me is kind of, I think it was him posturing and trying to use leverage of everybody else, trying to say, hey, let's do this. And it might have been ratings. It might have been, hey, just get all eyes on me. I think we got a big enough rivalry where everybody's going to want to see this week 1. Let's do it. And I don't know if they're the team for that. They said they were all in. They didn't make a single move that seemed all in. It seemed like they
got
played
Eric Hendricks when we tried to get him.
That's not an all-in move.
No, it's not. They had a good draft apparently, according to the draft pundits, but I have no opinion on that.
I do feel that. Real quick, and I'll let you get back to it. Is the Jets game? Is our question mark is going to be what's up with our defense? Because if we're missing the mark on D, Aaron Rodgers is going to pick that off.
Yeah, Dre and Huff, if they're not there or not 100%, that could be bad for sure.
Or if we've changed it.
Malik Mustafa and Devondre Campbell, who definitely knows Aaron Rodgers from playing in Green Bay. He was good. He was on that team that beat us week 3 of 2021 for sure. He had a big game. Hey, real quick, Aaron, 49er First Takes in the house.
Oh, what up, Aaron?
Oh,
make sure to go check it.
I actually got clearance to join you guys tomorrow night at 6 with Raj.
Oh,
so yeah, that's exciting to go over the schedule announcements and everything. So I'm fired up for that. I don't think I've ever streamed with all you guys all at once. You, Bash, Aaron, and Raj all at once. In fact, I'm pretty sure I haven't. So that'll be a first.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm streaming with them. I think you said you, is it me? No.
Yeah, I thought you were in the lineup.
Oh, not that I know, but yeah.
Oh, then I'm a complete horse's patoot, and
it's all good, bro.
Sorry for mentioning it. Jesus. Lovely, nicely done, Ted.
But anyways,
I could swear I thought Raj mentioned your name yesterday during the show.
Probably to say hi.
No, I thought he said Ryan, Bash, and Aaron and I are getting together on Wednesday.
Oh, it might have been.
Maybe it was Ryan G. Hensley, but I don't think so. He's not really. This is our circle, you know. Like
it could have been an error said really quick, you know.
All right.
That happens.
Well, anyway, my apologies.
No, we're good. Yeah, ain't nobody tripping. So one thing I heard today, I was listening to Larry Kruger. Oh man, horrible. And he was talking about a article that Matt Burrows wrote, and it was about an interview he had with the gentleman who took Adam Peters' role, the executive in charge of player development, or that's what he used to be, or he was a vice, and then now he's moving into the scouting director. And he was talking about what they liked about everybody. And I thought it was very interesting to hear what the 49ers, like essentially why they drafted each person. And I thought that was a good thing to talk about. I don't know if you heard this or watched it, but they liked Pearsall. They liked his toughness. Renardo Green, they liked his competition. Like he likes to compete. And then they liked his knowledge of the game, if I remember correctly. So they're like, this guy is just smart and he likes to compete, which is great traits to have in somebody. You know what I mean? Especially when you're in that secondary, to be able to sniff things out beforehand can give you so much more leverage on the play. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll see defensive backs beat receivers to the spot because they're smart enough to know exactly what route they're running and they run it for them. Oh, Philly. What up, little Philly? Sorry. Spongy. Told you it's going to be a little Philly because he's little. He's got Philly in the name. He's not spongy, which is, messing with me, I guess. But yeah, Malik Mustafa, they said I can't remember what. He was, let's go to Garendo. Garendo, they loved his split. And one thing Larry brought up, which I had a feeling that they might use him as, is kick return.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I looked at him, I thought, wow, he kind of runs standing up. And that would help you in a situation in the kickoff situation than going through the line, right up the gut. Because people are reaching to grab instead of like trying to meet you in the hole. So when you're reaching to grab somebody, standing up tall, going fast, and being 220 pounds, you're going to break arm tackles. So it's just as long as nobody gets in your midsection. I think that's why they liked him. Seems like the 40 time. Both linemen, they liked Pooney because of his speed, but they like how smart he is, and it seems like Pooney might be the dude if they're correct on everything, because he's got he's a fun personality guy. He works really hard. He gets better. You know what I mean? Like he gets better as time goes on because he takes things seriously and he can make those mental notes to change things. Did you pull up the Matt Burrows article?
Whose article was it?
Matt Burrows.
I haven't read it.
Oh.
But everything you're saying makes sense. When I think of Pearsall, I think of hands, but like I said, the minicamp kind of, and then route running was a big one for him, and Cowling, I felt like was really big.
Oh, they drafted Cowling because, or not just because, but the notable thing that they said in the report was his pregame. He's got a pregame just like NFL receivers. They were really taken aback by that and impressed by his process pregame. So his during game is pretty good too. Pooney. So one thing they liked about Pooney is that we know he was a guard / tackle, right, at certain times throughout his college career. But in the Senior Bowl, they put him at center, which is a position he hadn't played much as. And he did very good against one of the best defensive tackles at getting pressure quicker. Like the pretty much the guy who's got the highest pressure rating in all of college. And he was going up against him, and he was doing great being a guy who is just now being a center. So that speaks a lot. that switching positions and going up against the best guy. And they were saying that who was it? Nugent, the guy we got. Nugent had problems with the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nugent had a problem with the same guy. So I guess he was giving him fits. So we got a guy who has shown he can play center against nasty guys better than some of the guys we got on the team that play center.
That's always good to hear. What about Kingston? What do they like about him?
I can't remember. There was a lot. It was Larry
Bethune
did a good
from the linebacker.
Bethune. He's a hitter and he's all over the place, and he's going to find us. They know he's going to make it on special teams essentially. So he's going to be one of them special teamers who stays around long enough, could end up being a starter.
There you go. I know Bethune himself said that he had the same style as Renardo Green, and so that would be helpful to have them both on the same defense together. So we'll see if he can make it.
I'm really excited about our defensive picks. I wish I could remember what they said about Malik Mustafa or Malik, but I can't wait to see him. I think we're going to see Malik. They were saying that Malik might be able to play this year, that he's that well put together.
Might have to.
Right. But it's nice to know that whether he does or he doesn't, that he could. So far as we.
No, it's true. Mustafa, I mean, he grew up a 49ers fan. They say he's very cerebral, big hitter, good tackler, sure tackler. But
he's not scared to get into it.
Usually, and he's like things. It sounds like they're doing something a little more esoteric that's not so well known about them. It was like their hidden trait that only the 49ers saw, or the people who scouted deeply.
I think that's kind of how we go about it, because I think the one things that they look for are the building blocks to success. It's not what you already have there, because that just shows what you've got right now. That could just be built off of athleticism, right? But do you have the building blocks to make yourself into whatever you need to be? Can you like Brock Purdy gets a rep, figures out what's wrong with it, goes and makes a mental note, comes out, does it differently the next time, how he's supposed to get it going. Do it right. That's the type of stuff. If you don't have that, how are you expecting that person to get better in the league? So I think which is sad, because this is what the 49ers look at, and this is what every disciple of the 49ers are going to be looking at, because they know exactly how it works. They've seen it work in person. They just go, character guy. Yep. Oh, wow, it panned out. Oh, high character guy. Oh, holy shit, it panned out. Now they know, we just go for high character guys. Guys that have a good foundation that we can build upon. We're just looking for you. You don't have to know everything about football. We just want you to be able to absorb what we want you to know about football and then execute it at a high level. And when you're not asking people to do much or do more than they should, they can execute at a high level, continue or on a consistent basis more easily. Less to do.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's some truth to that. And I know they learned their lesson with low character guys with Reuben Foster, and kind of said no more character risks. But now they've taken it even to sort of more extreme. They got to be really outstanding character guys only, which I think is smart. Also, more proven track records, less diaper dandies. Like, oh, he's young, he's got all these traits, but he's totally unproven. Kind of like one Mr. Trey Lance. I think they learned the lesson from that. Hopefully, we'll see. There was another big piece of news recently that came out, which was the Jared Goff contract extension.
Oh yeah, I forgot to look into that. How much was that worth?
262 over 4 years, or 266 maybe. It was $54 million a year. So yeah, that'd be 266 over 4 years. And I think it was like $170 guaranteed, which is
54 million a year times 4 would be 216 mil.
Maybe that's what it was then. And
4 years, 212 mil. Okay.
212. So it's 53 million a year.
53. You had some of the numbers correct. You know what I mean?
Close enough for government work. So 53 million a year, 170 guaranteed. It's a big, second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, whatever it is. So it's a lot. Absolutely.
He doesn't deserve that. Don't get me wrong. He deserves to be paid well, but he does not deserve that.
Well, that's why I quote tweeted it and I said, this is good news for 49ers and all the NFC contenders because I think they overpaid him. I think it's too much. I think he chokes under pressure. You know, if he's got a great O-line and great weapons and everything goes according to plan, he's very effective. But as soon as things break down, he is not going to ad-lib the way, like, say, a Brock Purdy will. So
I'm guessing media.
I said this is great news for the 49ers and the other NFC contenders. The others.
Yeah, except for the fact that we're going to have to pay Brock more.
We are. Absolutely. Brock's
price
went up for sure.
I've seen some Yahoo walking around saying that Brock Purdy was going to take $30 million, book it. And I just thought that was not very realistic whatsoever.
People say things.
Jesus. If Danny Dimes is going to get $40 million, like how are you going to look at
the starting point?
How are you going to look at Brock in the face and be like, there you go, 30 mil?
No, it's not like it wouldn't be like, oh, this is all you're worth, Brock. It's like, oh, would you take this to help your team be better, to have a better chance of winning?
I don't think
it's not like saying this is your value. It's like, hey, would you be willing to go this low?
I don't think he could actually sign a contract that low. I think the NFLPA would step in.
Oh, well, they didn't with Brady when he took half of the market rate from the Patriots, but maybe things have changed since then. I don't know. So from Malik Mustafa, I just looked it up. It took me a second to log into Athletic for some reason, but I'm in now. They said there were several areas. He was the golden helmet.
Well, they don't know about the golden helmet.
They're not revealing the gold helmet. Sorry. They said there's several areas, including performance, leadership, and intelligence.
I think him and Renardo Green might be the golden helmets if they're, you know what I mean? Like those two guys, I think those are the two guys that are really going to show out.
Mature, extremely bright, and confident for Mustafa. Very positive impression. No official visit. They didn't feel like they needed to have him visit.
Also, earlier in that article, they explained that they kind of use that no 30 visit to throw teams off the scent.
Yeah.
They do enough research the couple years beforehand, and they're like, no, we know enough about this guy. We don't really even need to talk to him. He's consistent enough in all the things that we're looking at that's enough for us. So they just kind of keep people off their trail.
There you go. It's a smart move to misdirection. Kyle loves misdirection, not just on the playing field, but with the press and with these top 30 draft visits. Absolutely. So
what's up?
What do you think? So, like, let's say Purdy, I don't know, I think he'll make at least another step forward this season. Let's say he plays like 2023, but a little bit better even. What do you think his number is at the end of the season?
Jeez.
We know more than 40. I think it'll be less than 54 or 53 or whatever Goff got. I don't think he'll get that much. But
it's tough. The reason why it's tough is because I feel that he understands that him getting everything he could can cause him to have less weapons or less of a defense, which as a quarterback, I don't want any of those. I want a great defense to make up for mistakes that happen, whether it's mine or my teammates. I want a defense that can, have our backs and stop points from being scored on inopportune turnovers. And then I want guys who, when I get the ball in their hand, they can make the other team pay. So I have a feeling that Brock's going to sign for maybe around 50, maybe 48. It could be 53, could be 56. Who knows? but I feel there's going to be some sort of a little bit of a discount, but I don't think he'll be able to get away with much unless they do like a guaranteed. You do a whole bunch of guaranteed up front, and then your contract per year is less. So I could see that. But I don't know if the 49ers would go for that type of contract, especially being as big as it is.
I was thinking mid 40s before, and now I'm thinking high 40s. So I'm kind of with you. Crazy Juice in the house, and Red Jet Shell's back. I guess she stepped away for a minute.
Yeah. Well, and here she says, "Sup, chat. Make sure to like and sub. Yes, and if you were on a computer, make sure to open up 2 windows, and you can mute the other one, and make sure you give both of us a look." I just opened mine up, so now I'm watching.
I know I'm doing it too.
I did it before I said it, so I wasn't that much of a hypocrite, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I could do it. I did it.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Oh, bro, it's okay. As long as we're up and running in the show, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Really, as long as we're going live, as long as we're live, we're good. But yeah, appreciate everybody in the chat today.
Always, yeah. Thank you for being here, folks. That's what makes these shows great is the audience interaction.
Yeah. If only I could get some X comments in here. Oh.
Anshul says, Purdy, get your bag. I mean, I would argue that he's getting his bag already from all these endorsements, but I know that's separate pools of money, and often a lot of the guys that get the most from endorsements still get the highest contracts as well, too. So just because you're getting a lot of endorsement money doesn't mean you're willing to take less on your contract. But a lot of people, Anshul also did say a lot of people think he'll take less, and he does sort of seem like the type of person who might, but, you know, until push comes to shove and they're in there and talking to Parag, just never really know how it'll play out. But I think Brock seems like the type of guy who would take less to get a weapon or another pass blocker or another or 2 or 3. So yeah, or one of each. Spread it around. I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to cost. There's no way you're getting around it.
Anshul says he might, but I do not blame him if he wants to get his bag. I don't blame anybody for getting their bag, playing a sport where, they're every time they set foot on the field, they're risking their current and future well-being. Anybody who wants to maximize their earnings, how could you begrudge that? You can't.
Well, also, I can't be mad at him because he deserves it. Like, I don't care who you are. You can be, I'm not begrudging BA right now trying to get every dollar he can. He's earned it. He's earned it. So I ain't mad at him.
Not at all. Not at all.
Which we haven't heard any drama lately. And last time I heard, the 49ers supposedly were making a great attempt to try and get this thing done before camp because they want him there, week 1.
Instead of holding out till August like Bosa and Debo.
I don't understand what they accomplish by making people hold out of camp, having other players in those same positions sign new all-time high record-breaking contracts in front of them, and then how are you saving? It should be day after the season's over. You should be at his door giving him fucking you should give him 50 or 500,000 less than what it says to give him on the thing. And he looks at it and goes, "Well, it's less than okay, I'll do it." And you do it. You know what I mean? And if he says no, then you give him another 500,000. Boom, there we go. Here, because I don't want to have to pay you $3 million more dollars.
That's a simplistic way to look at it, but in reality, these contracts are extremely complicated, and there's all kinds of, there's the guaranteed money, there's the injury money, there's, there's the void years, there's, signing bonus, so to get it all fine tuned and together. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it sooner, but a lot of times that's why we wait, is because it sounds like a lot of money when you hear X number million of dollars a year, but when you find out that it's really 2 contracts and one's just 2 years long and the other 3 years don't really count anyway, because you can get out of it pretty easily after a couple of years, then you realize that's what they were, spending all the time arguing about and coming to an agreement about, or waiting until they'll agree with Parag, essentially, until they're like, all right.
Right. But
fine. I want to play this season, so I'll sign your stupid thing.
So certain things you can
that are more favorable to the Niners and less to the player.
But you know what certain hangups are going to be there at the beginning, right? You can already be working on those beforehand, right? As far as somebody wants an incentive deal, or if they want other kind of deal. If you don't even know, you can make multiple deals and say, sign which one you like. Here's 3 options. You know what I mean? And
I'm saying there's only one option, though. That's what I'm saying. And I'll
there's
back
only
it
one
up
option for the player.
Parag, it's also John Lynch, because the word on the street is that John Lynch doesn't lose trades. He only trades if they're super favorable in the 49ers' favor. And if they aren't, then they don't make the trade. So, it seems like it's an organizational tenet to win the negotiation, win the trade, even if it takes longer, even if that player is compromised that season because they sat out like Bosa and Debo those years. Neither of them had great, were as good as they could have been had they been training the whole offseason. So,
but they didn't win with Bosa. They paid him pretty much exactly what he was going to get. And it was, all they did was string it out. If you remember correctly, it got down to the.
Well, Ryan, you don't know what he was asking for.
I mean, it got down to the wire. Remember, when we started getting it was like every couple of days we got a new we got a new report on what they were hung up on, right? And it wasn't like this is what they've been hung up on the whole time. It was like, no, last week they were hung up on the money. Now they're hung up on I can't remember what the language about something. You know what I mean? It was like consistent. If you would have started that process months ago, it seemed like they were far apart, hadn't even been working on anything. And when in the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, they had that thing worked. So there is no excuse to wait months and months.
Don't you think the players know that the longer they wait, the more the money goes up, so that they are incentivized to wait until August or whenever?
Yes, but at the same time, the players.
So it takes 2 to tango, Ryan.
The players want that bag, though, immediately. Like Debo was like, give me my money now, because he wanted to go spend it. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to go do his stuff. Yeah. He wanted his big signing bonus. Look, and I get it. I'm not knocking everybody, but that's what they're doing. Also, the other thing is it's leverage. It's leverage. No matter, it's people like me and you tweeting Jed York and John Lynch, even though I don't think he has a Twitter. But
Kyle that supposedly doesn't, but we know that's baloney.
Yeah, but I know Jed does because I've tweeted his ass.
John Lynch definitely does.
Oh, well, he definitely doesn't go on there. But yeah, they're gonna feel it.
Well, he's the one who liked the one of Jimmy G, leaving Jimmy G on the runway in church. So that was
John right.
Yeah.
That was his Twitter.
No, you're right. The longer they wait, the more the public starts to get angry with the 49ers and just assume it's their fault. But like I said, if you don't know what Bosa was asking for, then you can't say that we just gave him what he was going to get all along, because he may have had a totally different number. He may have had 40 million in mind as his all along number. So
we know what the number is. The players know what the number is. Why do you think Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, why do you think they were able to do their own contracts? Because they can go and they can look and see who's got the same stats as them and how much they're getting paid. And they know that they are essentially worth that. And that's what the going price is. And essentially, anything you take less than that is just letting the team nickel and dime you.
Except for stats without context can be misleading. So,
But that's not how the system works. That's not how it goes. We know that.
Well, we know that a young guy with the same stats is going to get paid more than the old guy with the same stats, but the old guy may hold out for more because, guess what? It's his last time getting paid. Whereas the young guy might take less because he's like, I'm going to get plenty more of these contracts.
Well, they might not be taking less.
But
the young guy might be looking for incentives, while the older guy might be looking for guaranteed, and that might be the big difference. Same money on the contract, essentially, just how it's paid out.
Yeah. Well, bottom line is, it sounds like they're trying to do it different with Ayuk, and I hope they do.
Media, we should bring Media on this.
Yeah, he's great.
Maybe next week.
We've done a ton of shows together, he and I.
Oh,
he's probably my most regular guest that was never a regular guest. That wasn't on a weekly show with me.
Oh yeah, Media is awesome.
We've done a bunch of shows together. What else we got? Anything else? Burning desires?
No,
we got some time.
Know.
It's not like we're pushed for time here. You got a few minutes. Well, let's take a look at our handy dandy Canva list. Since you took the time to put that together.
Oh.
Let's see if we missed anything out there. Oops.
We kind of covered some of it.
2 ads. Oh man. Oh wait, maybe I'm on the tutorial video you sent me instead of the link you sent me before that. There we go. There's the one.
Oh, talking about why John Lynch on Pat McAfee talking about why they were so high on Brock Purdy.
Do you tell?
Oh, I gotta reread it. It's been so long. I think the people you don't hear about, the unsung heroes, the organization, in these organizations, it's our scouts, our coaches. I think there are 2 people that deserve as much credit for Brock Purdy, Lynch said. One of them is now in our pro department. He's a guy by the name of Steve Slonik, and his brother Bobby Slonik is the offensive coordinator down in Houston. Steve was the college scout that would go through Iowa State. Steve would always come through with these draft meetings in the fall meetings and speak so glowing about Brock and the culture changer he was. How Ohio State would not be where they were without Brock. The other guy,
Iowa State.
The other guy is Brian Greasy, and Greasy was always impressed with the Zoom calls, and he came back extremely convinced. And this Mordecai got the same nod from the guys, I guess. So but we know now that Slonik and Greasy are the guys that really honed in on these guys. So if we keep Slonik and Greasy around, we got more chances of finding these guys. Not saying that we need to, move off of Brock Purdy, but their backups might be competent enough to take over if someone gets injured,
Also, if you develop a quarterback, and he gets a little playing time here or there, blowouts one way or the other. Usually, right now, it's been us blowing other teams out, but sometimes
Draft
we
capital.
Get blown out too. You got them in there, injuries, gets them in there. All of a sudden, you've got an asset that you can then trade away. So, I know Bill Belichick tried to draft a quarterback every year. He didn't do such a great job developing, but he still traded a few of them away. Castle, Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett. Maybe forgetting somebody too, but
I think it's a smart way to do business because with how it's like a 50-50 crapshoot half the time, that always making sure you got somebody on deck just in case in that position is worth it. Even if you're getting, fourth rounders or fifth rounders or even seventh rounders. We found that 7 rounders can play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and you just look at how overvalued QB position is with QBs going 1, 2, and 3 in this draft. And was it 1, 2, 3, 4? And like 7 in the first round or 6 in the first round. I guess it must have been 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6 in the fourth round and in the first round of the 2024 draft. So if they're overvalued in the draft process and the draft, then they're going to be overvalued in the trade market as well too. So there's no better player to take a flyer on undrafted than someone like Tanner Mordecai. He has
also
upside. But we didn't wait the number 3 overall pick on him this time, so that's the good news.
Yeah, who knows? It seems so cliche sometimes, some of the things this management does, but yet sometimes with other things it just pays off to where you just kind of got to take it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not doing bad enough to really hang them out to dry for it. So there's just certain things you're like, you can't see this little idiosyncrasy that you do that is just not needed whatsoever. Whatso-fucking-ever.
One thing I like that they did, I'm going to give them a pat on the back here. I like that they let Warner and Dwelly walk. It's interesting that they both ended up as Falcons. That was another bit of news from last week. Warner just signed with the Falcons. Dwelly just signed with the Falcons. So, yeah, our 2 half tight ends are gone. And hopefully one complete tight end will emerge on the level of Latu, Willis, what's the guy's name? The 6'6", 250 guy, the undrafted.
I thought he was 6'8".
6'6".
Kruger, I swear Kruger today was saying 6'8". But he said that the tight ends coach was working with him like extremely close. Like he was just working with him kind of thing. You know what I mean? So in other words, it was get this guy ready at Mason Pline. Thank you.
Pline. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, media. Like see?
Something like that.
Media, you want to come on next week? Jesus.
He's not 6'7", Leon.
Oh, hey, I heard 6'8". What up, Leon?
No, you guys
man, I like that picture.
Man, he's 6'6", 250.
That's a glorious ass fro. Oh my God, with the mustache. Oh. So when the movie Kid and Play came out, I asked my mom, I said, I want a flat top. And she's like, what do you mean, honey? I said, I want a flat top like the guy from Kid and Play. And she's like, oh, honey, you can't, your hair doesn't do that. I said, huh? What do you mean? She's like, oh, he's got different hair. And I was like, how do you have different hair? Right? I just like, what? Just cut my hair like that already. Let's go. So I was always a little jealous of the hair. I wanted to be, and God damn, that fro is immaculate, Leon. I'm guessing that's not you, but still, just, man, if I could, I so would. Especially with a jamming mustache like that. Shit. Women, watch out. Just
6'6", 255. Thank you very much. NFL Draft Diamonds.
So he's 6'8", 2 what?
6'6", 250. I was wrong. I said 250, so I was wrong about that. 255.
Oh, we got Jason in the house. Jason, Niner. Captain Niner Smash Massey. There we go. What up, Jason?
Sheesh.
Any other news? Oh, it's funny. I thought the Dwelly thing too, but it seems like this guy is gonna this guy's going to pan out. Maybe we've got somebody, or who was it? It was Lombardi. Was like, I think we're a little weak at the defensive tackle position. I'm glad this new, some people think we're weak at the tight end position, but we just don't have a tight end too. And like, yeah, that's weak. That's weak when you don't have somebody to lean on who's your TED2 or your TE2. Yeah, bro, that's you're weak. You're weak in that area.
I will say, if Cam Latu can learn to catch, the job is his. I mean, he knows how to block. He runs good routes. He gets open.
Well, Mason supposedly has some good upper body strength, which is good because he's so tall.
He's going to have to learn how to block in the NFL, which he could. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying he's not coming in with that tool in his that club in his bag, if you will.
Blocking is really, to me, blocking is all footwork. You have to get your hands on the person, but really it's once you figure out where you need to put your hands on somebody, it's kind of easier to try and get to there every single time. It's harder to figure out where your feet need to be to win. Because even if you don't get your hands on somebody, if you get your feet in the right position, you can win. You can be in their way enough to where they can't get anywhere. You know what I mean? So I think footwork is the biggest thing. So if he could figure out how to pair his upper body strength with his feet, he'll be a good situation. In wrestling, I was taught you want to be in front, or you want them to be in front of you, but you don't want to be in front of them. So if I'm looking at somebody, I want them to be turned to the side so they're not looking at me because I've got a natural advantage here because they're not squared up with me. So once you can figure out how to bucket step and get around to the side, just as long as you got your feet squared up and your hands out like this, they can't go through you sideways. They have to turn and face you. And once they're turning, you can push them. You can get your hands on them nice and, get a hold of them. And by that time, the play's already gone past behind him if you're blocking on the line as a tight end. It's that quick. So footwork's the big thing to me.
Jason Captain Smash Niner Massey says Willis greater than Latu. Willis is very fast. Willis has great hands. Braden Willis. He doesn't know how to block. So
on the line, he's not good.
We got two half tight ends again.
But
so either Willis needs to learn how to block or Latu needs to learn how to catch.
I don't think that the statement that he doesn't know how to block is 100% correct. I think Willis blocking on the line is not something pretty. But I do think when he is in space and in motion, he blocks pretty damn well.
Well, you could say that about Dwelly too. Dwelly was fine when he had his steam, playing fullback or coming all the way across the formation. But inline blocking, just put your knuckle in the dirt and run a play.
We've seen Dwelly whiff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Willis really whiff in space yet.
We haven't seen Willis play much.
I've watched some Willis tape, bro, because he was my favorite guy out of last year's draft. I've got eyes on Willis. Don't question me, Britt. Not to say that he hasn't dropped one, but yeah.
I really liked him in camp. I mean, he was tearing it up in camp.
He's got great wiggle at the top of his route. He knows how to get separation. He'll
targets a few times.
He might be a nasty fullback. He might be Juice's replacement.
Or Garendo might be.
Yeah. I haven't seen his route running. I haven't seen his route running essentially in the NFL to kind of understand what he's going to look like. He might be used to get that outside edge in the outside zone. I think that's really one thing they like about him. But I think he's going to be here to try and stir some stuff up on the kickoff return. And I think he's got a chance to score some freaking points for us on that kickoff return. I see him because he's got the fast top speed, right? And all he's got to do is hopefully get through some arm tackles to be able to get out in some space to open that top speed up. So he could be really nasty, and he's 220. He kind of runs standing up. So if he kind of leans forward a little bit, he's going to torch people's arms off. It's not going to be nice trying to arm tackle that guy. And if you're the last person there and all you can do is reach out your arm, well, oh well, RIP to that arm.
There you go. Anshul says, did people forget that Jennings had drops? No, he still has drops, but nothing like what Latu was like in camp. Latu is just stone hands in camp. So much different.
Well, not just camp, in the games too. In the games, he had like one catch, and I remember going, "There you go, bro. There you go." Like, I just wanted you to get something so you could see if that confidence of being able to do something would stir a little more inside of him and waken more up. And then he got injured. And I was just like, damn it. Like, that was our chance to see what he had in him, because sometimes people just need to be woken up. And then you've got a beast on their hands. Sometimes they don't feel confident about themselves. And the moment they feel confident and they have that swagger, they're able to do the things they're supposed to do the whole time, because there was a mental block essentially of them worrying about something that caused them to not do it correctly. And the moment they believe they can, that's not there anymore. And they can just do it because they believe it, essentially speak it into existence. A lot of these players, when they go up for them fancy catches, they've never practiced doing all this stuff from these angles. Now, they'd practice some, but not from every angle that we've seen. But yet they can pull it off. Why? They got confidence in themselves. They've done it so many times in so many other situations. This is just a different situation. Your body doesn't have to have muscle memory. It just has to be able to calculate, because it's done so many calculations before. And he couldn't get out of that funk quick enough before he got injured for us to see. It's a big question mark.
Here's hoping he learns how to catch, or Willis learns how to block. We need one of those two to step up, or this P-line guy. But I don't think it's going to be Saubert. I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to condemn anybody. Who knows? Maybe this injury is what Latu needed to really be like, fuck it, I'm going for broke. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to put it all out there. I'm going to do way more, because sometimes when you get an injury, you come back, you might not have the same chance as you did before, just because there's somebody else that they like, that they feel they can do something better. So sometimes you got to come back, and you got to come back better, just to keep people looking at you and interested in you. So who knows, if he sees that, then oh no.
With Latu, I would just say Jugs, jugs. Hit that jugs machine, Cam Latu, please.
I don't know how, like, as a player in the NFL, you wouldn't try and figure out how to have one of those around you 24/7. I mean, even as like a defensive lineman, I would be trying to figure out how I can catch a ball, see it coming through, and have my hands up like I'm going to block it, and then try and catch it without even looking it into my hands. I'd be trying that. Why not? If I can get an interception off of 15 minutes a day on a jugs machine, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Hell yeah.
As long as you don't get hurt doing it.
So you do it enough, and it becomes the training you need to be able to do it. Your hand's going to hurt there for a while. Do it in the off season. Wear padded gloves. All this good stuff, whatever. Sometimes you just got to get it done. In wrestling, you can't pick somebody up until you pick somebody up. You got to try over and over and over and over and over and over again until you've got the muscles. Then all of a sudden, boom, you can do it. Boom, you can do it. So Twilly was good for one catch a season. That's the only time they ever threw to him, was one time a season. The guy had hands a good. I call him Diamond Hands Dwelly because he got the ball all the time. Diamond hands in the world of crypto means you don't sell your crypto even if it starts crashing. You just got diamond hands. You're not scared of shit. You know what I mean? And I call him Diamond Hands Dwelly because if it came around in his area, in his radius, he was coming down with it. And I couldn't believe, like, I'm really curious to see what Atlanta does with him this year because he could have a breakout season. That might be, anybody betting guys, betting people, you might want to look at Ross Dwelly to maybe have, double the yards, double the triple, quadruple the yards that he normally has because somebody's going to give him an actual chance. He's going to get some yards and he's going to be a breakout player for some team. I have a feeling because he's not glitz and glam. He's just dependable. He knows what to do in certain situations. He was a horrible blocker, but he knows how to get open. He knows how to get open.
He just can't get any yak once you give him the ball. It's like his feet are stuck in cement.
Who cares? You know what I need? I need somebody on third down who can come down with the ball over the marker. Guess what? You could have used them for that. They never did. Yeah. Never used them at all. We were a run first offense, and we've got a tight end who's really talented at catching the ball. And that's, maybe his biggest strength, but yet we don't use him to his strength whatsoever, and we don't really use him at all. So why was he on this team all this time? Was he supposed to learn how to block? Because what made you think, you think he's been on the team for like 4 years?
At least.
After year 2, going on year 3, what made you think that he was going to get that all of a sudden? You've been trying for a couple years, right? Guessing it's a lost cause, homie. So what was going on? Why was he on the team? Makes no sense.
I mean, I think they tried to replace him several times and just never worked out.
How? Replace him with who?
Well, most recently, Cam Latu and Braden Willis. But there was Jordan Reed. There was several others, weren't there?
If you really wanted to try to replace him, you would have the pick they used on Jair Brown. You would have gone after a tight end, I believe.
Darnell Washington was my draft crush.
So I just feel if you were really trying to replace him, that's where you needed to be, and that's where you needed to go. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have got Jair Brown. I really like Jair Brown. I'm just saying should have packaged something else together to move up to get a tight end that was actually somebody you could depend on actually being a player. Because essentially right now you've got Cam Latu who can block but can't catch, and you've got Braden Willis who can't block on the line, but he can catch. We're back at square one. We're back at Charlie Warner. We got a cheaper Charlie Warner and a cheaper Ross Dwelly. That's all we got.
Well, they're also younger and have the chance to develop. So the book's not written on either one yet. That's the difference.
Right. So. But we're back at square one. Why aren't we looking for somebody who can do both? And then
we did. We tried to get Brock Wright from
Did we really try that hard?
But they matched our offer.
They matched it because it was easy enough for them to match. If we would have given them a better offer, it might have been a tougher decision for them.
Absolutely.
Still, no priority on tight end. Who knows? Maybe they know something. Maybe they know that Cam Latu is just ready to be the guy right now. They've got all indicators. He's doing great. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't make sense. You throw these darts, but what were you aiming at? You're aiming for the same thing you were trying to get rid of? Because whether you can teach them or not, you're back to square one, at least for the first season, which they were last year. That was back to square one. They were actually back to square one with the same guys they tried to replace. And the guys they tried to replace couldn't take the square one, couldn't even do the square one rolls. And they had to go
keep a lot faster than Dwelly.
Both of them. Like he's going to be nasty at something once they figure out how to use him. But I got to get going.
Yep.
Yeah, P-line really hard, putting in a lot of focus on getting his technique polished. Yes, because it's such an important position right now. That's, to me, this just shows how much of an option Kamla 2 isn't right now for them, and how much of an option Braden Willis isn't for them at the moment, because they're putting a lot of, resources in this certain situation. Not to say that it's going to be different once you get everybody together, and that he won't be working on Cam Latu this hard. But it seemed like right now in this mini camp that our tight end coach only had one responsibility, and that was trying to get P-line up to par. Yeah.
Well, the others aren't rookies, so they weren't there.
Right. But, who knows? When regular training camp comes, there might be – are you going, right?
They haven't even announced they announced the dates. They got to announce the dates. They got to put tickets on sale, and I got to acquire some tickets cheaply.
That might be something to
look. I'm not going to pay $150 a ticket like they were going for in the secondary market last year. Absolutely not.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll make a few of them for sure, if not all.
That's something to look at, is who's getting coached up there in that tight end room on the field. Who the coach is putting on the – because that was a great point that was brought up today. But I'm going to get out of here. You got anything you want to say? Let everybody know. Oh, you got a show tomorrow. Let's plug that.
Yeah, I have one with McNiner at 3:20 Pacific. And then Aaron, Raj, and Bash is back. So we'll be on at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. It's unusual for me to get to stream that late in the evening, but it's schedule drop. It's an unusual situation. So got permission from the home boss, and I'll be free.
All right.
How about you? What you got coming up, Ryan?
Nothing yet. I think we're going to, Bash and I will probably start streaming here again now that he's back. And then, Joe Stevens. I might have a show with Joe later on this week. Who knows? Figure this one out. But we're out of here. I want to thank everybody in the chat coming tonight, this afternoon. Man, it's bad. Coming, checking us out. Thank everybody on Twitter for tuning in. Thank everybody on both our YouTube channels. Appreciate you. That, we're out.
Peace and go Niners.